Yeehaw! Welcome back to the channel. This is Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today I am giving you cowboy realness. I am wearing my flannel shirt. I don't have my boots on yet, but I am going to put my boots on. And yeah, I am going to a lunch party, and yeah, I figured I'm dressing like a cowboy. I don't know why. Because I'm wearing flannel. I feel like if I'm wearing flannel, I have to have cowboy boots on. But we are back, and we are still working on Autumn the Fox. So, a few things. Showing off some stuff from Legit Kits. Because we're working on Autumn the Fox. I'm getting ready to baste her down. If you want to know how to baste down, I do have a video basting down a whole cloth. I think that's what it's called. I'll link it below, but you can also just search it. But we are working on the Autumn the Fox panel. Remember, we're working with Legit Kits for the project itself. This is the piece, or not the panel. This is the pieced quilt. There is a panel version of it. I'll talk about that in a second. We're working with the Bit Orange and Quiltable because that's the designs we're going to be using. I'm using all of these fabulous threads. Today I decided, let's go variegated. Variegated thread, especially when you're doing something with an animal or you want to add a little bit more definition and detail. I love using the variegated threads. Like, not necessarily in this case because this is going to be pro stitcher, but when I'm free motioning a quilt, like I had this elk one time, I went in and I used a variegated brown that kind of matched the color of the elk and just kind of did a little, I call it my S-curve design. Did these wavy lines, and it almost gave the illusion of fur because that thread is variegated. So I'm using Omni-V today, a selection of beautiful Omni-Vs. In my bobbin, I'm going to be running bottom line, and so in the greens, they're all going to share the same green bottom line. Gray, or this is kind of a bluish gray black, and that is going to have a dark gray bottom line. The oranges are all going to share an orange bottom line. And the lighter colors are going to share my favorite. Can you tell that this is my favorite color? 623 silver in 33,000 yards. These are huge cones. These are available at superior.com. So go over and check them out. So yeah, a few things. So kind of Legit Kits is sponsoring this, Quiltable is sponsoring this. I have to tell you, I didn't pay for the design because it's Quiltable, and I just said, hey, I want to make a video with your stuff, and they're like, hey, whatever, do it. So I did talk to a Bit Orange too, because really it's their stuff, but they are already partnered together. Legit Kits, I did not buy these kits, but it's kind of a trade, because I'm quilting something for them, and I'm going to send it back. But I do want to talk about their stuff, because people have been asking. So Legit Kit sells the kit. So this is the kit, the Caribou kit. I said, hey, I'll quilt this for you if you give me that kit. So this is, when you talk to Legit Kits, they sell these just by the kit. You can have, or not by the kit, just by the pattern. So this is the Legit Kit pattern for the Caribou. Super excited. Maybe by 2025 I'll be able to finish this because I'm never home. But this is the pattern. When you buy the kit, you also get all of this fabric. I opened up the box and I was like, oh my God. So you'll see that the kits are somewhat expensive. That's because of this. They cut everything out for you and then give you cutting instructions, how to cut this for your pattern. Like, they've thought of everything. So it's very cool. I'm excited to do it. I just need to find the time. So most, crinkle, 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 most of their patterns also have a printed panel that you can opt to purchase instead of the kit and making it yourself. The thing with the printed panels, they're not the same size. So when we talk printed panels, that reminds me, I need to send a text. Let's pause this. I don't know what I was talking about, and I'm gonna, hopefully it cuts together okay. I think we were talking about panels. So I'm gonna show off some panels. There is a panel version of Autumn the Fox. I don't have the panel version, but I am getting the panel version, and that's what I forgot. I had to run and send my address to the person who's sending me the panel version. But when we talk about the panels, I just need to, like, if any of you have been around since Barry, my little puppy, was a puppy, I used to wrap him, we called him the Barry Bjorn, and I would quilt with him, like, in this little thing. This thread weighs more than Barry does, by the way. Again, I lost track of what I was doing, but I think we're still talking about panels. So, the panels, I think, are 30 by 40. So this is one of their other patterns. This is called Not Land of the Free. This is called A Little Coffee. So yeah, it's 30 by 40. And I'm going to be getting the Autumn Fox panel and do the same thing on the panel so I can show you all, because you're going to have to resize it because obviously this is not the same size. This is a good size though. I'm kind of excited about these. I'm like, who do we know that loves coffee? Ben said, I don't know, us. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really fit our house aesthetic. I guess I could put it in here. But it's fun to just like make gifts and send them to people, right? So they, like I said, they have panels of everything. This is the eagle. This is Land of the Free. This is the white-tailed deer, white-tailed buck. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know. We'll see. And then the other thing that they do, you get a magnet with all your kits. You get this little magnet that matches the one you just made. So I don't know. Legit kits, fun. The kits themselves, like, they are legit. I mean, this is a ton of fabric, and it's all cut for you. It's not cut to size. Like piece A is, you're not gonna pull piece A out, but it's cut so you have plenty of fabric and a little bit extra to get all your pieces out of this. Oh, this is only a medium project. The other thing I will tell you, if you haven't, go join the So Fun community on Facebook, SEW space FUN space community. Excuse me, on Facebook. I've been having people like post pictures of your legit kit stuff. Post pictures of if you're doing the December Diamond Stitch Along. Andy, I know you're watching this because you watch everything. We've been messaging about her layout because she had questions and didn't think something looked right, so everybody was kind of giving their 2 cents. It's just a place where you can actually interact with the other people who are so fun, like us, all of us. And you are in the Cool Kids Club. So dumb. So what other stuff? A bit orange, blah, 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 quiltable, legit kits. Yeah, so that's it. Intro's done. I'm going to finish basting this down. Again, link below to the basting video. And then we'll jump back in here whenever it's all loaded and basted, and we'll start stitching this baby out. So we'll see you back here in a second. I forgot to say, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure you're notified when new videos drop. They come out weekly, although sometimes things come out. We did hit 6K, so keep an eye out for the 6K giveaway. There was something else. Oh, follow me on Facebook, Adam So Fun with the SEW, and Facebook and Instagram. Now we're going to the quilt. All right, everyone. I hope you have your pearls on because you're about to clutch them. Because I've taken off my ruler base and I am not stitching. Ooh, that felt weird. I am not stitching with the Surefoot because I put the glide foot on. This quilt has some really gnarly seams in it. Anytime you have a lot of seams coming in at one point, you're going to get a lot of bulk. So where was I? Like here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seams coming into one intersection. You're going to have a bulky spot there. This one's been pressed pretty good. Like, I wanted to get a hammer to some of these. Here we have 3, 6, 8. So again, nice and bulk. The machine will run through that, but the glide foot is going to help it go on top of that and then just stitch it down if something happens to go there. So second thing, I started kind of putting this together. Not a beginner. This is not a beginner pattern. You will definitely learn a lot if you're a beginner and you try to do this, but it's going to take some, it's not just ding, 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 put it in there. There's no actual lines. Like, I'm not going to create an area around something and skew it, kind of like we did with the poinsettia. That's a beginner one. This one, we're going to kind of eyeball where things go and then lay them out in our Pro Stitcher screen and stitch them out. And it's, it's going to be fun, but it's definitely not a beginner design, just so you know that. So I'm going to bring you close because I got in here and I was like, oh yeah, everything looks good. Let's stitch it out. I'm like, oh wait, I'm recording this. So let me bring you up to the screen so you can see what I did. I'll recreate one side of it and then we'll go from there. So we'll see you back here in a second. All right, per the instructions, we're going to start at step one. We're going to start with the eyes. The eyes say, let's start there. So right now, you can see I have all this stuff going on the screen. If you look at the sidebar, you'll see there's a lot of designs open. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 total because we have the eye unit. We have this up, kind of like these swirly pieces. That's a unit. The squares are a unit. So this is 3. This is a 3-pack. We have the same 3-pack over here and then a piece in the middle. You are definitely using your instructions. Oops, cancel. What did I do? Now it won't even let me cancel. You are definitely using your instructions. So we're going to stitch those eyes out. 1, it's a different color. I'm stitching those in the dark grays. And 2, they're going to be our starting point off to where we go. So what I've done is, so the units we have 28, 24, 17. 25 is in the center, and then we have 29, 26, and 18. So you can see that there. So this is what I've created, and we're putting it down there. Oh my gosh. This view right now is just spectacular. So one of the things I was trying to do is this unit in the center, this 25, I really want it centered on the center seam of this quilt, which is this one, I hope. Well, let's put it on there. Yeah. And so if we look back at the screen, sorry, there's going to be a lot of back and forth in this video. We are centered really nice. Now, you can't center this first. I'll just tell you that now, because you need all of these pieces. Like you kind of, this is a puzzle. You're going to need one piece to build off the other one, because if I move this out of the way, oops, that will work anyway. See how that piece is different, or how this sits in there? We need all these pieces to work together because this is, like I said, a big puzzle. I'm going to hit undo. So let me, oops, that's fine. I'm going to select these 3 and I'm going to close them so I can show you what I did. So first thing, I need to open these pieces, and they're all the left sides of the face. I don't remember the actual pieces, so we'll just come and pick them up. We need 28, file design open. I need this 24, and I think 17 was the other one. 17. So I have all of the left sides of the face. They're opening back to where the machine was at the beginning. And I'm going to move them over here because I want to work with them over here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build this unit, build this into like one piece. So I looked at my design and how it should look. I'm going to select the design I want, zoom in because I only need to really look at these 2 pieces. And this is where I'm going to use my drag and drop. So I'm going to tap drag, it turns to drop. And I'm going to bring this down and get this to where it looks like everything should line up. And I'm really looking at this intersection over here, how it's working together. The other thing I want to do, so that looks pretty good. So let's drop it. I'm going to hit my select tool, pick up these square blocks, and now I'm going to put this on that swirl. And that swirl is the only thing I'm going to look at because that's where we're really going to be able to tell if it's off. So again, I'm going to hit drag, and I'm just moving my machine until I get it close. We're moving out of the screen, so I'm going to hit drop, come here, there. And you'll notice that my crosshairs aren't on my screen. That's okay. I don't need the crosshairs there. I just need my drag and drop on. So now I'm dragging this and dropping it. And it's going to kind of outline that design. You can't tell it's super good how it is right now, but it's a little bit of like kind of an outline. Perfect. We're going to hit drop. Now I can look at this intersection to see how these points work. And I'm okay with that. I think that looks pretty good. I will zoom in to here and make sure that these points look okay. And do you see how it's kind of coming into that stitch? Probably not going to be able to see it. But what I'll do, just in case, is I think that's going to... Okay, so I picked up just the squares, and I'm going to call that the eyelashes. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to modify, reposition, and this is where I use my nudge. There's going to be a lot of nudging in this sucker because things have to be on point. So now I have my left eye aligned, okay? Now I want to select, and I'm going to select all three because I want that as one big group. I don't need to, I'm not stitching them yet. We need to move them. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to come to this point right here. And I'm moving my crosshairs, and I might have to move the machine. Oh, I didn't have to. Okay, so I'm right here at the very bottom point. I'll hit refresh, and now I'm going to zoom into this and use my nudge. So I am going to move the camera. So I'm still on reposition nudge. So modify tab, reposition nudge, and I'm going to nudge this up, because I want them to be level with each other. That's probably important. Sometimes when you tap nudge, you'll take your finger off like it's still going. It happens sometimes. And there we are. Now we're level, and I can use my nudge to just move it to the right. And I have all three selected so they're moving together. They are not baseline together. They are just moving together. Oh, see, that time it didn't keep going. And I'm looking at spacing now. I want everything spaced somewhat the same. So like up here, down here, here. And now I have the left side set up. So when I set this first right side up, I did the same thing. I picked the first design, the eyelashes, the blocks, set them up, and then I started moving them around so that this was centered and these eyeballs looked in place. The one thing you can look at is where these circles land in the eye itself, because the dark parts you would think would stay in the dark parts of the design. They do not. That's not how it's digitized. But if I move my machine over to the eye, that circle of the eye is going to line up with the eye down there. So that's one of the pieces I'm looking at. And I'm going to check the other side. So I'm going to move you and try not to camera too much and get you all dizzy. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm on the circle of the eye and the eye down there. So that's how I am starting this. I set my group, move this near that circle of the eye, put my centerpiece in, which is this piece. It's let me hit select. It's number 25. And I wanted that centered. I'm going to put you on the down here. I wanted that centered on the center seam of the quilt. So if I come and move this to the center seam of the quilt, and I look back at my design, it is almost perfect. I mean, I could probably shift it to the left really quick and get it a little more perfect. There. And you really can't tell anything moved. So, if anything, I could shift this over just a tiny bit, but I'm moving at 0.01 of an inch. It's just for me to be crazy. Really, the thread is so thick, you're not going to tell a difference. So now this is all set up. Now, the other thing is, sorry, I moved you. I don't know why I moved the camera. The other thing is, this doesn't all fit in my throat. And I have the Infinity. So if you have an Amara, you're not going to be able to stitch all this at once. You're going to have to do it kind of piece by piece, figuring out where things need to be sat and go. I could stitch the eyes, and I'm just going to move my machine back as far as it'll go. So in my throw right now, I can stitch the eyes, the eyelashes, and number 25. They're going to be different colors, so I'm not going to stitch all of them yet, but I am going to stitch the 2 eye units. So I need to just select the 2 eye units. I'm going to select the first one. Down here, this middle button is select multiple. I'll tap that and select the second one and tap it again to turn it off. I don't want to leave that on because I tend to hit things. So now I have those 2 selected. I'm going up to my settings. I'm going to, some tight stitching in here. I'm going to stitch at 13 stitches per inch. My tension and everything's already set. I tested that. My precision, or I'm not in precision, I'm at regulated cruise at 175. So I'm going to say Pro Stitcher, let's quilt. On my Pro Stitcher screen, I have it to stitch. It's going to tie off at the start and the end, and it's going to pull up and move out of the way so I can trim my bobbin. Going to my start point. And personal preference, I always move near my start point to start because I want to make sure that it doesn't have to move itself too far because that's annoying. I don't like to do that. Uh-oh, you can't see any of this. There we are. Confirm everything's correct. It is. Hit start. And we're going to be off to the races. Okay, although we started out the day very fun and cowboy-tastic, we've had some issues. So, I didn't realize that I had cracked my glide foot. And earlier in the video, I touched like the foot, and you saw me go like, oh, that was weird. The foot moved, and I didn't think anything of it because I tried to push it again and it didn't move. Well, the foot was cracked. And I thought I had a backup. I do not have a backup. So I super glued this foot. I'm going to try to stitch the other eye. Also, my thread broke for a second and I hit stop on the camera and I forgot to restart it. But this eye is done. This eye is not done, and I would really like for everything to line up. So I'm saving this as a workspace. So when I come back, I'm going to be able to easily line things up back to this. Remember, we're on zipper leaders. I'm going to zip this thing off because I don't have time to wait to get another glide foot. But for you all that are like, oh, I want to do this quilt, hopefully, you haven't pieced it yet. So I am going to come back to this at some point. I'm going to try and cross my heart and go slow, and hopefully this works. But I'm going to try to stitch it with this super glued foot. And just fingers crossed, I don't break anything. But I really want everything to be lined up. And these two eyes kind of need to be done to do that. So I've super glued my foot. One's already on order. I'm going to do this. I'll post a picture when this is done because I didn't have the strength to record it. But this is real life. Things happen. Things like this happen. I actually think I dropped this at one point and was like, oops, don't drop it, not on tile floors. That's just a bad idea. So I'm going to stitch their eye. I'll just post a picture here when it's done. Like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, give me a thumbs up just because this is not a good day. And that will make me feel better. I don't know. Follow me on social media. Adam's So Fun with the SCW on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for joining me. I'm very excited to see this stitched out, but it's not going to happen until I get my new foot because I'm not going to chance it. It's not worth it to me, and I hope it's not worth it to you all for me to break my machine. So that being said, ooh, it's holding. Let me see. Nope, it just moved again. So I might not be stitching it. I'm going to try to super glue it one more time. When you're using these feet, if you put a washer on there, it can help you from not tightening the screw too much. That's the problem. You have to get, there's a sweet spot for where the foot needs to sit, and you got to get in that sweet spot. So if you put that washer on, it keeps you from kind of going in and like breaking it. But thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. If you're working on that Diamond Days quilt, next week we'll be stitching it, and that's why this thing needed to get done. But again, zipper leaders, zip them on, zip them off. We'll see you on the next one. And seriously, guys, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time. We're not stressing about this. We got one on order. Everything's going to be okay. So we'll see you in the next video.